This is Francis Bacon's 3 Studies of Lucian Freud from 1969. It's not just one of Bacon's greatest triptychs, but it's also a very careful study of one of his best friends and a painter who would come to rival him as one of the greatest figurative painters of the 20th century. This is the most important painting to come to auction for a generation, certainly the most important painting by Francis Bacon. And I think that you see here Bacon trying to show Freud what he could do.
One of the key things to say about this painting is it was painted not in his studio, but at the Royal College of Art. That is because at the end of 1968, George Dyer, who by then his relationship with Bacon was very shaky, he was feeling rather neglected and rather sad, he was having a lot of trouble with drink, and he got very angry about something and smashed up the studio entirely in Rees Mews. And there's a lot of damage and Bacon couldn't work there simply. So in January 1969, an artist friend who taught at the Royal College spoke to the rector, Sir Robin Darwin, who said, can Bacon use a space here? So for the next 6 months he did. And this was the first painting he began there. There was lots of photographs taken by John Deacon of Lucian Freud, sitting on a bed which sat for Bacon's immediate pictorial models for nearly all of the paintings he did of Lucian Freud. But in fact, Bacon often conflated different things in a painting. First of all, there was always an argument between himself and Lucian about who sat cross-legged like this. The actual photographs in cross-legged poses are not of Lucian. There's a series of George Dyer. So the cross-legged thing is really a conflation of images of Lucian on the bed and here George Dyer on the seat in the studio. But forget any other sources outside. Bacon's main source is the paintings of Francis Bacon. And in the end of it, the magic and the greatness is really in his paint. We should really only talk about his paint, of course, and it's always at its most intense on the flesh and on the figure. And you are just inevitably drawn to that, panel by panel. I mean, it's jaw-droppingly wonderful when you get to all the detail on it. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. Having painted the face with the ultimate of passion and energy and intensity, he takes the strongest black line straight through Lucian's face, which is kind of almost perverse and yet simultaneously wonderful. Bacon is one of those artists, I think, who absolutely defies this idea there's a viewpoint for a painting. He was absolutely heartbroken when it was split up. And he wrote, I mean, there are letters in existence saying it makes no sense unless it's back together. It was conceived as a triptych. So it was kind of wonderful when, really due to the efforts of one person, isn't it, true to say, who made the effort to try and get all the 3 parts back together again, which is as you now see them. For most of this picture's life, you couldn't, is the truth of the matter.